What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Iron Horse Entertainment. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Sorry about the dog. Don't know whose dog that is. I'll worry about that later. So today we're working on the 98. We're not really working on it, we're just performing routine maintenance. So we're doing an oil change. Got us our 15W40 D-Low oil. Got us our Mopar oil filter. Highly recommend these. In my opinion, they're much better than anything Fram or like K&N or anything like that. So all you're gonna need is a breaker bar, neck down from a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. Get that drain plug out. Got your flathead screwdriver, and then got your oil filter removal socket. So let's get to it. So y'all probably can't tell, but my truck is on a tad bit of a downgrade right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this opportunity to get some oil flowing and everything like that. Start her up, turn it around, and then bring her up so that oil isn't rushed to the front of the pan. It's sitting at the back of the pan. So when I drain it, I still get all of it. Now, it is an automatic. I'm aware of the comments that might bring. My 99 was a 5-speed with the MV5500, and it was 4-wheel drive. So I made a big switch to 2-wheel drive automatic. But we're gonna have Randy's Transmissions. Y'all probably follow him on Instagram if you're viewing my page. Randy's Transmissions, building up a badass 47 RE for me, mostly built for hauling and everything like that. So when that day comes, it'll be a bad bitch. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna use this opportunity to check fluids and everything like that. Let's see, washer fluid, plenty of that because my windshield wipers don't work. Coolant, I already know, is low. Yeah, she's low. Trans fluid, I need 2 hands to check that, so I'll check that in just a minute. So, first step, changing your oil. You want to take this off. This little elbow right here, going from your Terpski to your freedom box right here. Because you got to get it off to get down to your oil filter. Alrighty. Little tool I forgot I had. It's like an oil filter wrench. I'm not the biggest fan of these because it's smooth metal and goes straight to a chain. And so what can happen is you can wrap it around your oil filter, then you go to crank her down, and then you crimp the sides of your oil filter and you break stuff on the inside. So I try not to use that if at all possible. But sometimes if you're gonna use it on the very bottom of your oil filter, because that's the strongest part for using your clamp. So all it is simple as loosening these band clamps. Loosen that one up. Then you go down here. You can use the socket wrench. I believe it's an 8mm socket. But I mean, I just use a screwdriver. It's nice and easy. I'm not sponsored by Cobalt or Dodge, but it'd be a lot cooler if I was. So we'll see. So you gotta loosen those up, and then all you do, just pull it right off. Boom, done. So, recommendation: if you're new to the diesel gang and you don't have like a toolbox or anything like that to put your stuff in, where when you're working on your pickup truck, I would highly suggest investing in it, because I'm gonna share a horror story with you. One time my buddy was working on his Cummins and he lost one of these. Couldn't find it. Just a 3/8 inch extension, ratchet extension. Well, one of the things we did was we took this thing off. We changed oil. This old boy was hiding right on in there. Went and put it back on, ratcheted it up, started the truck up. It was fine because air alone won't move that 3/8 inch extension. Well, he went to get on the highway the next morning, and that 3/8 extension found its way into Mr. Turbocharger, blew up that turbocharger, and absolutely wrecked the inside of his pickup truck. Excuse me. A little bit of that breakfast talker coming back up. So, always keep track of your tools. On to the next one. Before I go and drain the oil, I like to take the fuel cap and just loosen it up, set it like that so there's no back pressure or anything like that. We can take out the drain plug. So now we're gonna go underneath, take out that drain plug. So you're also gonna need a bucket, something like this, or just like a oil change bucket to put the oil in. I didn't buy this Gucci thing. It's a gift from a lady days gone by, so we won't talk about that. Blah. That's why I put oil in it now. Anyways, let's get after it. Got that 3/8 inch drive in there, and then nice and easy. Oh motherfucker, someone drove that thing in there. Hold on. Golly. Alright, so that thing was snugged up in there. Folks, I didn't think I'd have to say this. Don't tighten the shit out of your oil drain caps. It is imperative that you don't do that, because you could over tighten it and you could damage something. And then someone like me comes along who can't keep themselves from buying cars, and then it's my problem. So don't do that. Just get her snug. That's it. And when you're changing the oil on a Cummins, your hands will get dirty. So just understand that. Like, it's impossible not to get covered in oil. Oh, God dog it. Well, drop the cap. So it looks like y'all are going to get a first-hand look at how dark diesel engine oil is, so we'll be back with you in just a second. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this oil filter. I've already cracked it, so it's already loose. So all you got to do is you got to fish her off, and then make sure you don't drop her, because there's a 1.5 quart of oil in there, and that is not fun to clean up because I've done it before. Also, I would recommend that you disconnect your battery before you start doing this type of stuff. But me, it's early in the morning, I don't drink coffee, and I'm trying to quit dipping, so I need a little liveliness in my life, so I'll leave them connected. If you're a real mechanic, you would know that, no, never mind, I won't say that. Alright, back to the video. While we're letting the last little bit of that oil drain out, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and replace the filter. So what you got to do is, through the top, you're going to put 1 quart of oil in there. Just 1 quart. In total, you're going to put 12 quarts. So just keep track. Just keep track. It's that easy. So 2.5 gallons. That's 10 quarts. And then 1 quart in your oil filter, and then just add another one to the fill cap. Alrighty, that is 1 quart. Then next thing you're gonna want to do is, as I'm sure that you guys know, truck's temperamental, just like your woman. So what you got to do is you got to take a little bit of this oil, a little bit of foreplay. You got to lube up that ring right there before you go throwing it on your filter housing, so it seats nice and she doesn't yell at you later. What you got to do is you just got to fish her back in there, and then there's your threads. That goes right there. And you just thread her back on. Be sure not to over tighten. So once you get her snugged on there, you can see that little C right there. Once you get hand tight to where you can't hand tighten anymore, crank it down another half crank. Either get manly with it and use your hands, or use you an oil filter wrench or something like that. Just get her snug. Snug is a very variable term, I understand that, but just get her snug. You don't want to over tighten it, because then that's your oil feed line going straight to your turbocharger, and you do not want that thing not getting oil, because she'll turn into a Nagasaki noisy boy and just absolutely wreak havoc on your engine bay before too long. So crank it down hand tight, another half crank. Always gonna want to check the magnet on the back of your drain plug. You can see on mine there's nothing, so that's good. That'll basically, any metal shavings or anything like that circulate through the bottom of your oil pan that could be coming off in your engine, could either be coming off cylinder walls, crankcase, anything like that. So it's always a good thing to look after. On to the next part. We're back underneath the truck, tossing in this drain plug again. There's gonna be some oil that seeps out, but I mean, that's because it's already on its way out when you're putting the plug back in, so your hands is gonna get dirty again. And take your 3/8 inch drive and tighten that down just a tad bit. Snug, not too tight. Go on ahead and make yourself a little checklist and check it off. So, drain plug, that's back in. Oil filter, that's back in. Quarter oil in the oil filter, that's back in. I haven't put on the elbow yet for the turbocharger, but we'll come to that in just a second. Is there anything else that I need to do before I toss this oil in there? Nope. Rock and roll. Let's throw that oil in there. Let's go ahead and grab your 2.5 gallons of D-Low 15W40 engine oil, and you're gonna drain it all in there, and then you're gonna do a little bit more because you need one more quart. Remember that. 12 quarts. 12 quarts. Magic number. It's a magic number in the Bible, and it's a magic number underneath the hood of a Cummins. 12. 12 quarts. 12 quarts. Even though this is a 24 valve, it's close enough. Divided by 2. Nah. Alright, so you're gonna have to perch yourself up here like a daggone spider monkey. That's gonna look funny, but hey, I ain't got a shot. And then you just pour on in there. Alrighty, and I like to just let it sit there for a little bit. Oil is expensive, so I just like to get every last little drop out on the next part. So now while that's perched up like Humpty Dumpty on his wall, I'm gonna go on back here and grab this 1 gallon jug of oil, take her on up to the front. One last quart. So what I come to find out is that, oh look, Humpty Dumpty's still there. Good stuff. What I come to find out is this D-Low, I can't hardly find it anywhere. Walmart, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, can't find it anywhere in a quart size. That'd make it a whole lot easier. But hey, a little extra oil, never hurt nobody. Throw it in your truck bed, throw it in your toolbox, do anything like that, and you'll be golden. So right about now, should be good with this. I got a little bit more. We'll leave her on in there. I'll be back. Well, boom. So there we go. 12 quarts total. Rock and roll. So what you're gonna want to do is, if you go on and you check your engine oil right now, it's gonna be like way off the charts high. That's normal. Your oil capacity, recommended capacity, is 12 quarts. That's what it says in the owner's manual and everything like that. What you're gonna want to do is, you're gonna want to let that oil settle, crank her up, let that oil circulate for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. If you did it right, it'll be at a good level. If you did something wrong, it'll tell you. And then you want to go ahead and adjust and everything like that. You always want to be on the lower side. Not necessarily always, but if you're gonna be on in excess or like on the lower side of having oil, you want to be on the lower side because it's a whole lot easier. Oh dang, there's a woodpecker. Fair enough. You always want to be on the lower side because it's a whole lot easier to measure the amount of oil that you put in than measure the amount of oil that you pull out. Because then the only way to drain that oil out is to take it out of the bottom, out of that oil pan. And it's a pain. I tried to do it before. There's no way to measure it. There's no way to, you just have to eyeball it. And then you have to check it. And you have to crank your truck back up again because then the oil level in the oil pan went down, but there's still oil up in the engine and all that junk. So right about now, we're about ready to start her up. Gotta put this elbow back on the turbocharger and we'll be golden. So in my attempt to teach y'all something earlier, I almost committed a cardinal sin. Forgot to check everything. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw this back on. So the nice thing about this elbow is that it's a one size, like a one size on, one size off. You can't put it on backwards, it just won't work because this side has a longer straight, more like at a 30-degree angle or so than this side does. So you'll hit your alternator and everything like that. So one way on, one way off. Again, you don't have to over tighten these because the last thing you want is to bust a band. Just get her snug. Snugged on up, and then get her on there. Check this one more time. Good to go. Make sure all your tools are clear of your engine bay. Go on, throw your oil cap back on. Boom. Dunskies. Don't worry, she ain't lit up like a Christmas tree. Alright. Got your oil in, your drain plugs on, your oil caps on, your oil filter snug. There she is. So your temperature gauge over there. And we are sitting happy. Good stuff.